and my area.
Winin karulu nin wukulu lata nyamin anin yawmunu menu nati purka nake faye sedo luti ulubeta ta nyamin anin ulufonu lata nyamin wulukuleti men sila soto wuluto manke na hamodi fang bartonya tonya.
The IGP,
Inspector General of Police,
Inspector General of Police,
a lot of the time. The Inspector General of Police, I mean to say.
Inspector General of Police,
and there was also an Assistant Superintendent of Police and other senior police officers in that team.
Assistant Superintendent of Police fanam bejela ning police ke nyaton ko do fanam benu njele.
That is true. Disappointing. Regrettable. But what is even more regrettable is that this person is sitting there in pain with a broken arm, and the people that broke his arm are sitting right there watching over him being questioned.
And those
that followed after him were also tortured and brought before the panel.
Council, you've touched a very important point, and this is where I was waiting. You see, I want to sum it. If you will allow me, if I can put it this way, allow me to make the pie, and inside that pie you will find all the answers. You see, the first few days of the panel, apart from the intimidating environments we just talked about, the people that follow, this is why take note of the names I'm going to call. Apart from Bunja Dabo, Yaya Dabo, Wasa Kamara, Malafi Kor, soul rest in peace. Alpha Ba, in his soul rest in peace. Sise, I don't know.
Let me take down the names again. You said Bunya, Yaya, Wasa, Alpha, Manlafi, Ali Job, Tamsir Jase.
This is what I can remember first, maybe later.
Omar Fall.
Who else?
Abdul Karim.
Per. Put that one aside, it comes in the next list. But let me deal with these first names. The first few days of the panel, and then nobody touched them. It was so regrettable, and what was so bad about it. Their cooperative nature. So that didn't happen.
But what happened?
Later we realized that these people, after all their cooperation, junglers, I believe, and I can swear to it, that they will not do it without having instructions from their commander-in-chief.
First,
President Jammeh. They are brutalizing these people after they have already given their confession.
But let's examine this.
Yes.
We have established that Bunja was tortured before he was interviewed. As he was seated at the panel, he was in serious pain.
Correct?
Oh yeah. He wasn't taken to the hospital, was he?
Right.
Was he given any medical attention? To my knowledge. So he was interviewed through his pain. And his torturers were sitting there facing him. That is as good as ongoing torture. That is true. So he was tortured. I'll accept that. For real. There is no two ways going about this thing, because he came in that way and I know there was serious pain inflicted on him. And in addition, he said he asked for a lawyer. He was never given a lawyer. Especially he asked for it. I'm just trying to dig into my mind to remember that. As a matter of policy, was the panel allowing lawyers to come in? That's another thing. You see, counsel, like I said, in a very bad system, counsel ko between karo ke no very counsel ko or even impossible to go through those process of providing an attorney. Even if the suspect or the accused asks for it, I am pretty sure and 100% sure it was not going to be provided. That was the status quo. There was no proper rule of law. Yaya Dabo, according to his testimony, he was first taken by the junglers and brutalized. And he was being asked questions by them. It was after to confess the crimes. True. So, with all due respect to Yahya Dabo, and what has happened to him is regrettable. With the Holy Quran in front of me, I swore, if it has happened, I will say yes. But that testimony of his is not true. Simply because, like I said, the list I gave you, I was personally shocked and very angry when I saw afterwards what they did to them. That was my first encounter when I went to Hari. We would come to all that. Yes. But that's not true. It's different from that which prevailed when Gunja Dabo was interviewed. That's why I said, apart from the intimidating environment that was existing within the room, and there was one of the soldiers with a gun sitting to his left. He was terrified. Okay. My honest answer to that? Yes. To the Holy Quran again. He's right when he said there was to the Holy Quran billahi. I swear to Allah. He lied. Were any of these three guys hit by anybody during their interview? You mean the three, Bunja, Wasa, and Yahya? I can remember a lot of Wasa. And when it happened, I'll explain that. We were in the process of question and answer, and he was cooperating. All of a sudden, one of the panelists came behind him, started slapping 1, 2. For him to stop.
And then immediately I turned to Foday Barry, who was sitting next to me. I said, Foday, please tell him to stop this. Why did I turn to Foday? Because Foday has always been seen as a senior. He seniored me in the service. This particular person doing that act, always listens to him. I believe this was Baba Saho. I believe Foday could indulge. Then Foday told him, Baba, stop, bile.
But Mr. Witness, the truth is these beatings were acceptable.
Wasa
wouldn't be the first and only person beaten there.
That I can remember. Maybe you can remind me with orders.
Well, your statement said maybe 2 or 3 times.
That's what I'm saying. This is why, the reason why I was vague in that, because I know these couples, like the junglers, sometimes will threaten to beat somebody.
During the interview,
the environment was toxic. For example, there was one time we were conversing during the interview. And I think Martin got up, trying to hit him, or I think he hit him.
Yeah, said he hit him.
Fine, and it's true, he hit him. And then all of a sudden we told him to stop again. Agreed. Let them allow the panel to do their job.
But in reality,
like I said, when it
there
comes,
were also threats.
I just described one.
And we would help you bring it out. Like that rotten tooth.
It's not there. That's not true. There was no blood.
Personally, he was beaten. He was beaten while he was there giving his statement. And what does that qualify for?
It's a beating.
It's an infliction of pain.
It's true.
By state authorities. On a suspect. Classic definition of torture.
That is true.
Especially in circumstances where he's being asked questions. In fact, that takes us back to the traditional definition of torture.
Traditional, okay.
Yeah. So all the elements are met. But let me just take it a little further. These junglers who were present in the room were the same people who escorted the suspects to the panel. They were the threateners, isn't it?
This is why I'm saying, Council.
Just answer that.
Because the environment was very intimidating. Out there, we feel uncomfortable with that.
And they were the ones beating too.
Outside the panel, yes.
In fact, Tamsir Jase testified here. He said the first day he was being taken to before the panel, as he was coming out of the prison, he was being kicked and slapped by those people who escorted him to the interview panel. And he mentioned Tumbul and Musa Jame. And these people were also present during his interview. Would that be lawful?
Acceptable? But that's what they were doing.
And that was the system of walking. But the evidence we received,
contrary
to your suggestion that you people objected,
was
that you people even encouraged disputing. You deny that?
I deny that. Because do you know why? What we can do, you see something wrong, you speak up and say this must stop. We are telling these things to stop it. The people who have the power to stop it. It's left to them to stop it.
Who had the power to stop it?
In the beginning, I was with the full belief that Harry Sambu, as the Director General NIA, and Lantombo will be able to at least indulge, stop these junglers doing what they are doing to these suspects. Now, Lantombo, I remember occasions, he's picked up in the panel in the presence of us. I heard him, we heard him. Telling him that how do you guys expect these people to do their job when you are not allowing them, you torturing these people or maltreating them? You know, how do you expect them to do their job? Some of them will come in a very terrible state. Like the second group I'm talking about.
Right.
Perhaps we could put aside this line of conversation. Okay. And then we would come back to it. All right. Ali Job. He was tortured even before he testified.
That
I dispute. He was tortured though. Not before his testimony. See, Council, these people were very, let me just finish this point. These people were very, you know, I don't know how to call it.
Eager to cooperate?
No, not the suspect. When I'm talking about the junglers. These people were so crafty. Because what they were doing after they received the order, I think, from their president, and it's not even I think, I know they got the order
from our president. Yes, from our president.
They are bent on raining hell on everybody.
Why do you think they were hell bent on doing that?
You see, in my own opinion, if you ask me, I will say this, that it is the Commander-in-Chief, Jammeh, who gave them order to make these people suffer. Because I believe he enjoys seeing people suffer. Because like I said, I couldn't understand.
How could he see it?
I heard. Put into what I heard. When they are conducting some of these atrocities, or some of these heinous crimes, I had some guys put him on telephone. And hear the screams and whatnot. He enjoys pain, like he enjoys seeing people in pain. Hearing people in pain.
Was this common knowledge?
This was common knowledge. This was common knowledge.
I mean common knowledge to those members of the panel.
If I say common knowledge, it means every single person in the room knows. I know the greater number of people. Myself, I know this, that he enjoys putting people in pain or in misery.
ndede nte fongo kunyongalo loko nyeka diate ka molu bula dimino kono wala ka molu je mamtoro.
So many evidence were there that I heard and sure that he did. For example, killing of innocent people just for some little trivial issues. Not even sparing your own family members.
Give us examples.
For example, when I was away and I heard that several West Africans were mass murdered, based on what? The allegation that they were mercenaries? Even if they were mercenaries, you captured them already. What? Okay, that's number one.
But how did you know that he is involved in their mass murder?
Remember, I used to work in the in the intelligence. Whether you involve me, you call me an NTK, need to know basis, but it's my duty also to put my ears on the ground to see what is working.
Ndefana ndo kola o kullo dinkari mbundal adu ndefana tumodo lunkan tulolole ka kolu lammo men yalon ko iketa andula ka koyimma.
Was it common knowledge in the agency that
the guys vicious
Ghanaians were killed?
For nyinketa mo jama londo de ko nyinkani alo ko yefale.
Answer now.
I believe it is a common knowledge. I think, and I can say it is a common knowledge. Didn't meet me in the country. When I came back, things like this, like I said, I'm working in an institution that is so treacherous. You have to help yourself.
You said so treacherous.
Treacherous or treacherous? No, I'm not treacherous. 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 So, it is my duty to keep my head above water. To know what is happening around you. For your own safety. You know how to navigate those waters. So, when I came, I took it because when I was down there, in Morocco, a colleague of mine, I forgot the name, from the Ghanaian embassy, came to me personally. Said, "You heard what? Did you hear what? Did you hear what happened in your country about our citizens?" And then the news was out. Everybody was talking about it. I said, "Yes, I heard." I told him, to be very honest with you, I have nothing, no details about it at all. He was appealing to me, "Please help me if you can get any information." I said, "I will if I know anything concrete." So shortly I came to the Gambia. I have colleagues who are in the system. That's the question. What happened? What happened to these things I'm hearing? What about these Ghanaians? And then the story was narrated that well. It was one of the huge mistakes that these state guard, the junglers, did again.
You've punctuated that statement with again, with the word again.
Of course, because we all know these junglers are heroes. So, you take that again. All they are known for is brutality. So this is why I said again. It is like this is their profession.
Well, to say again would suggest that you have knowledge of their previous killing activity.
At that juncture, I personally had no killing. I have not heard of any of their killings. They were very brutal. Unpredictable. They do whatever they wish or like and nothing comes out of it. So we know this in the intelligence.
And that time you got to find out that it was, that what did they do with regards to the Ghanaians?
So that is when I was told that it was the state guard, one of them, aka, what is it called again? Bombardier.
State guards kono mo bije o tembo ko mo
was in charge
no yalon ko tumo atele marta
of these Ghanaians.
Atele marta
they explained it to me.
O ganon ko ko ya fonte nyame.
Then they went and painted to the president.
Itata ye kumo do la nyado nyama president
telling him that these people are mercenaries and we have captured them and they are here. And then from there, they went and detained them, I think distributed some of them to some of the police stations afterwards. They were collected, and then they disappeared. So I immediately knew.
Disappear into thin air or into graves?
Into graves of song.
president between Kabru Kola no Janjandi police station also Babru Butala in Atebe Kamale Kotake Kekafunyuma Iemanta Kansuka Iemanta Mintola Ko Bangkok.
And I asked the question, was it true that these people were mercenaries? He said, no, these were immigrants. They were trying to go through the normal back way.
Nani linkaro ke utumuni tonya nyildumu kele lalle timeni ka kelo ke kodo yebang iko hani nyilmumu da ilalle timeni kata nyin koma sino la kata mantala banko lukan.
Mr. Witness, there is nothing normal about the back way.
Well, it's normal now. It's the normal tune. Everybody wants to go back way. But yeah, that's what I was going to understand.
But this was in 2005.
Yeah.
2005 somewhere.
So already in 2005, you people working in the agency knew that these junglers were killers.
Amunda upset atanu alto mol me alon ko do ko la ena eje ali alon ko jongula mol me alon ko far lalam.
And they were killing for the president.
De ka faro ke president num ko president olenu.
Correct? Yes. Council.
And these are the people who are working now with you.
Well, in the panel room, yeah.
Yes, in the panel room to interrogate people who were accused of threatening to overthrow the government.
But interrogate. If you say interrogate,
well, let me use the phrase used by the Director General of the agency at the time.
Okay.
He said it was to extort confessions out of these suspects.
He should know better than me.
For 2
reasons.
Well, you became his deputy,
yes,
so
that's what I'm telling you.
Have equal knowledge.
I will come to that, Mr.
Dalila
allow me. The Director General then, the reason why I couldn't see eye to eye with him during that time. No, I will come to that.
Let us not deal with.
Let's start with the junglers. No. Let's start with the junglers.
Let's not deal with personal problems.
Forget about it.
Okay, please.
Delete it. The reason why at the end I became very disappointed with him. He was the very Director General. Numerous complaints were taken to him. Him to intervene and at least try to put some sanity in his capacity as Director General. Make our work easy. And this is the very Director General who wouldn't do a thing. Instead, every morning, the 2 notorious, may Allah have mercy on them, their souls, Musa Jammeh and Tumbulu.
Why were they notorious?
Killer squad and then you've been named everywhere to be doing so many heinous things. They are notorious.
Proceed.
We will always go to his office every morning and give him a different kind of a briefing. You go there and knock on his door, you find him sitting on his settee drinking beverages.
Alcoholic
or alcoholic, all beverages. You know, every single day giving him briefing, taking briefings from him.
We have confronted the then Director General about these allegations, and he said, well, they would come there, they would want to engage him, but he would ignore them. He would give them his back.
Do you believe that? You know why it is unbelievable? Do you know why that is very unbelievable? These are people we in the security sector see as the very powerful people. They come to your office, they sit with you and you snub them? Tell me what will follow.
You tell me, I wasn't there.
Will sit there again for the next 1 week. They will put him where they will put all their adversaries.
Were they that feared by all of you?
So I'll be honest with you.
That's the reason why all of you, in fact, complied. You all folded and cooperated with the president in his scheme to do these people in, to ensure that all of them forcibly confess to these accusations and have them sentenced to long terms of imprisonment, if not even death.
Comply. Council complies an overstatement.
Let's try another one. Let's say all of you acquiesced.
I wouldn't take that, but I will tell you this: we worked around it.
I would say you worked through it. You did not walk around it. You all accepted it. The environment never changed, did it?
Council, no matter how you put these things, the fact is, I am ashamed, very honest with you, and I've been terribly traumatized till this day, today. Sometimes I ask myself questions repeatedly. What could I have done better that will not endanger me, and at the same time I would see it as the better thing? Sometimes I ask myself this question repeatedly. Sometimes I don't have an answer to it, because of the trauma that I have gone through. You know, Council, up till this day, today, ever since I came back to this country, I have colleagues and friends into the intelligence in that compound, people who were junior officers, and now they are in position. I around that gate. If the only time I will use that marina parade is if there is no other diversion I have to use there. If If I have other alternatives not to pass there, I don't pass there.
Because
it triggers some kind of a feeling. And this is what I'm struggling to throw behind.
Does the image of Ablai Kujabi beaten to a pulp, brought into the interview room unconscious,
those are one of those traumatic moments. This is a guy I worked under. Compliment along the hallways. All of a sudden I see somebody being dragged put before a panel on a seat, barely conscious. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. I have to sit back and said, Foday first said, what's this? Look at my seat. Read this? And that is when we also, I think at that moment, the adrenaline was high, everybody was just on a survival mode. We all said, no way.
This one just happened to be the extreme.
The extreme?
Yes, none of you wanted to have a suspect sit there and die during the course of the interview.
This is it. That's why we told them to take him away. We're going to question him.
For those who were still tortured and were able to stand, and it was so obvious to all that they were tortured, we were sat there and interviewed. Do you confirm that?
Like I said, Counsel, everybody who has been accused in that coup were tortured one way or the other. The reason why I try to dissect through this, like I gave you certain names. The first set were brutalized after their confession. Though the environment was also not conducive,
and possibly on the way to being interviewed. Sir Jase suggested that.
Possibly, I will not deny that. Whatever they said the junglers did to them, I will not sit here and say, no, it didn't happen. But this was their modus apparently.
But the worse. And in that set, you would have Per Mendy, you agree he was tortured during the course of his interview? Not in the panel, but taken outside and tortured.
I will tell you about Per.
Just answer that question.
He was tortured and brought before the panel.
Let's listen to what Per have to say. Could you, Obi-Wan, could you play the video for Per Mendy? Volume, please. Volume. We're not getting any volume. We're not getting any audio, I mean to say. No sound. Do you remember him? The gentleman on the screen. What's his name?
Spare, Mendy.
He has always, he impressed the commission as a very credible and truthful person. Could you, Obi-Wan, could you replay the audio, the video, and make sure it has sound? We have no sound. I'm sorry. Okay, let me tell you what he said. Pierre said, Hydara ordered the junglers to take him down and torture him.
You see, Council, if I had done it, I would say it outright. One thing I can tell you here, I know Per suffered. It's regrettable. Do you know Per's this thing? He was not in the panel when we were making our complaints among ourselves. But one of those who triggered that discussion, he was one of those. Because we never subscribed to that. If Per says, I said, take him and torture him, I'm a little disappointed, Council. Do you know why? When I looked at it afterwards, somebody called me and I went and listened to it. My allegation by Per. Yeah. Proceed. I heard about it. I was disappointed when I listened to the audio. Because I said to myself, why did he say this? And he didn't ask. They didn't ask him. Who did I give the order to? And when I was giving this order to, who witnessed it, who he can call, is my witness. I was very disappointed.
But as a witness, you would agree that the points that you raise do not negative the truthfulness of what he said.
It's a lie that I can tell you here.
Okay, let's take it step by step. He was before the panel, and he was giving you his evidence in a very intimidating environment. He was taken down and tortured and brought back. True? Didn't happen that way. Let me give you the true versions of what happened. You see, Council, I didn't come here to waste anybody's time. When Per, we had the first encounter, and then he was not cooperative, actually. He said he never heard, nobody told him, he didn't know anything about it. But that was his statement. Yeah, listen, I'm coming. Council. We'll get to that point. Just answer the question. That was his statement, yes. Were you not legally obliged to record that as his statement? I believe what I believe. I think. Initial interview, I believe a statement was recorded from him. I'm not sure, but maybe the statement takers can confirm that or deny. After that, when we spent a considerable number of a good time, and a second time. No, wait, first time, still in the first time. It didn't happen. He didn't agree to hearing it from anybody. So we said, okay, let them take him back whilst we get other witnesses to get more evidence. He didn't come back that day, Council. Who said that?
I personally said, take him back whilst we interview other witnesses.
I'm
coming to your point. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, Council. Just listen to me. I'll give it to you. So on that day, he was taken back. You understand?
According to him, he was taken down and tortured.
He says that. I believe what he said because he's the one who enjoyed it. I cannot deny that part because I was not there. But what happened in my presence, that's what I'm telling you.
But you agree that you ordered that he be taken away.
Of course, Council. When you are done with a witness, you have to tell these the upkeepers to take him away so that you can get another witness. That's normal.
But this was a witness that was not cooperating.
He was not the only witness that didn't cooperate.
Yes, but
yes.
And the system was these witnesses must cooperate, they must confess.
It is not a must. You know why?
Just allow me. Just allow me, Mr. Witness. All of them confessed.
All the people accused.
All the people
accused.
Yes, all of them confessed.
No, wait. Wait, Council.
Just answer the question. Who did not confess?
There's a number of people that were released afterwards, and they were accused.
These were genius.
Juniors and seniors, like remember, they brought Vincent. They brought, what is it called again?
Vincent Natile.
Abdul Karim Jah was prosecuted.
No, it's not Jah. There are some people. Do you have the report, Council?
Yes, we do.
Look into there and then look at it's two reports. You know that.
We have only one report.
It's two reports.
But let's focus. We will come to all that. Let's compare. The modus operandi was people are brought before the panel with the full expectation they will confess. Correct?
Not the full expectation.
With the expectation
if they're involved, yes.
If they don't confess, they are taken out. They were asked to be taken away. Correct? Could you answer yes or no?
Yes, Council.
Council. And who would be the people to take them away?
They are keepers. And these are the state guard personnel.
Don't window dress it. They were the junglers. Killers for the
state guard personnel, aka junglers. That's what I mean.
So these were the torturers for the president? Answer yes or no?
Yes.
These were the killers for the president?
Yes.
So here is a person who is accused of attempting to overthrow the government of the president. He is refusing to accept that. And you put him in the custody of the torturers for the president, the killers for the president. And they turn around and say they were tortured. Wasn't there a reasonable expectation that they would be tortured?
Council.
Just answer yes or no. Yes.
We know from the very onset that the environment is toxic, and unfortunately, there is no other keeper for these suspects than those very killers and torturers you are talking about. Brings them out, brings them in, takes them out. There is no other person who's been passed through this.
So when you ask them to take this guy away, they took him and tortured him.
Wouldn't
it be reasonable for him to expect that you ordered his torture? No.
It's not reasonable, because do you know why? So many people were, in fact, all the people that faced that panel were taken away by the same people. There was an optional team that would take these people and keep them. There was none.
But the thing is, you dispute what Pierre said.
Yes.
Omar Fall also testified. And he said you gave him an ultimatum. You suggested that he was offered what would have been his last meal. Suggesting to him that if he did not cooperate, he was going to die.
See, Council, people can come into this TRRC and say whatever their version and whatever they want to say here. That does not necessarily mean that everything they say is true.
Because the same will apply to you.
No, yeah. Don't take my words for anything.
Proceed.
Investigate through it.
Proceed.
But what I'm trying to say is, Omar Fall. We don't have any problem with Omar Fall. The very first day Omar Fall came and sat in front of the panel, he said everything. You see that meal he's talking about? You know how many times you shared meals with those suspects out of sympathy? Times before they go, they will say, do you have anything? Because when you go there, we don't eat.
And then you would give them food.
Yes.
Wouldn't that in fact also serve as an inducement to confess?
They are
deprived food there, where they are kept. But when they come to you, the interrogators,
we feed them good. So water, coffee, tea, whatever they want. Whatever is available there, we share.
Amid threats of death and torture?
No way. Council, let me tell you.
But you cannot run away from that. You had established that the environment was toxic.
Yes.
They were being threatened.
I agree.
Exactly.
So us, the interrogators, we are equally threatened, much more. So the environment was not conducive.
Who threatened you?
You are doing your job inside the panel. See Musa Jame and Tungul Tamba crisscrossing in and out, telephone to the president. Because who knows not loyalty, but trying to do what is mandated. Finger at himself. If that is the description of the law, and I'm an environment working in a very toxic system.
Full activity that will
talk about myself. I thought I was doing my mind.
That may very well be the case.
Yes.
Some suspect is ever read. That was the norm. No suspect was
correct, Council.
No request. I want a lawyer. I want to speak to time. Accepted this as the normal way of doing things. Correct?
When it comes to binding way,
I'll come to that. all of you resigned to the fact that this was the norm. This was the way of doing it.
Things you were out.
Remember
this council. Like I said, even though the environment was so toxic,
but
that was an exercise in futility.
That's right.
Mr. Witness, is it the hard fact that all of you were aware that comprising of interrogators, torturers, statement takers, and video makers, to ensure that he obtained those confessions which would be fed to the public. Isn't that the truth?
When you look at the way it was, everything happened around it, there's nothing you can say to defend. Otherwise.
Okay. But all of you knew this.
About his ego to...
No. The fact that this was a fraudulent scheme to secure the conviction of people using a very rigged system. You agree with that?
System was rigged, I agree. But I can speak of what I know at the time.
To be very honest with you,
to make sure that we get to the bottom of a national security matter.
You were doing a job in a way to please Jame, to ensure.
It's not to please Jame. Those that confessed one way or the other and were convicted, where he's taking them. Even us in the panel, we will, before, when they bring him, we'll ask among ourselves, what is his problem? You can't get about it. If you, for example, that is the fact that you know what happened? These people, you
and he was conceived for
of them dead. That helped us. He came to the panel after he was done. He was about to go. He said, "But you guys should look." He was the adjutant at the Fajara barracks. He had that guy. About this thing. How do you people even expect? Because I was not going to give you arms.
ala jube aliyeman toro men nati molu kan atel samira albenin kota mandiro la nyadi alte wanyari la aliyamira ntebe songale ka jorango di atolla men fo marima wonya
a lot
we ma ko irbale nati
save that that guy's skin.
wala yo funding ko kanandi
what I know is this.
namel lo wala munyinti ko
why Daba got you have a panel that is working.
A panel so to men be do ko la.
You expect their report at the end of the day.
Is big kirin ko ni ba ko kundu to kun temalan ko
that panel and the president.
Be kala sanko to panel ni president tema.
Be feeding him the progresses and what is feasible and what is known and what is not known.
Ulka nyum for president we men daru kanko kuma kawni men ite be sindila ma nyanta tamala wala la kata be jikiri be kam president wala.
If those informations were accurate,
ni wo kibaro lu tilintan wa keta tonyati.
Daba would have never been added into that list.
Ite daba dabu bari nyum fanan fala ko.
that you included the name of Daba in the list of ringleaders.
It's not true. Where I work, there was nobody who can come with a corroborating statement saying Daba yes. This is why I say, if right information was funneled,
that was exposed fact. Saying Daba is innocent on every line, it would not have brought Daba back.
That is true. It's very unfortunate.
So the allegation that did him in the first place is the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
And it is suggested that came from you.
No. That's a flat out lie.
In fact, your wife worked at State House.
State House.
Yes. She worked directly for the First Lady. And in fact, apparently when you expect us to go and ask for the register of 2005, register of visitors 2005 to State House. These are officers who were running a rogue system.
That's right, it's a rogue system, but record speaks.
But
it's not true, Council, to tell you the truth, no.
But didn't your performance earn you the promotion to Deputy Director General when another Hydara was Deputy Director General who was swiftly removed? But if your performance, compliance with the law,
I believe so.
We are reporting to him all what was going on in the
names God made.
Tell us. Is all within the environment of gross illegality. That's true. Allowed these reports to be used. That's the truth, isn't it?
And so that's the truth in the position of the law, and it's regrettable.
And so Luala Carola Willem Tenyati. Abdulunatra Sladu Musaka and Tonya.
And the same system would you agree? You are let's do it. Talking about made sometimes to move these suspects.
That is true.
And they would be brutalized cells. And the NIA personnel would come the next day and take them for interviews, knowing fully well that they were system.
But allow me to just explain.
It's a tragedy.
Oh yes.
To have it as a system as you did.
I accept.
What a disaster.
It was, if that is a better word to use, more than disaster, use it. The NIA, I said it from the beginning, is indefensible. The system was set up to be bad from the beginning. Answer your question, I'll give you one example. You have not asked me, but I know it's one of the things you will ask, but we can clear it.
And Madi Sise.
They were arrested around 2006, around the same time the panel was also going on. For an accusation of a false publication, I believe. They brought them to the NIA. I originally don't know. Initially, I don't know what was their problem.
Did you ask them?
I did. Initially, Captain Sen and somebody else were handling their matter. And then they were detained at the agency.
Did you ask them any question?
Yes, ask.
Did you ask him?
See, I always like asking questions, Council. If I see a face that I know, and nobody told me, I haven't had anything at the official angle, when I see him, I always ask, what happened?
So what did you ask him this?
What are you doing here?
He said you asked him, why are you here?
Yes.
He said he didn't know. And how did you respond?
I don't remember exactly what I responded. But I can...
But he remembers.
Okay, let me say. You mean Lamin Sedikan?
Yes. He said you responded that, oh, in due course you would know.
What I will usually
at night the junglers came.
I said, Council. NIA was I said, wait a minute, what's happening? What's going on? He said, these junglers are here and they are brutalizing these two suspects, Lamin Sedikan, and he's in serious pain. I told him, did you call my boss, Harisambu? Which was very risky because I don't know what I was running into. So when I arrived, they've already left. What I saw with my eye, I couldn't hold my emotion, I ranted. And I told the security, do whatever it takes to take care of them. I give them money, give them medicine, give them medical attention. And if anybody asks you, because they are always fearful, if anybody asks you, who asked you to do this, quote me. And I told them that first thing in the morning, Council, wait, I will go and report this matter to Harisambu because this madness has to stop now. It is getting too much. And I did. I went to Hari early in the morning. First thing I went to his office, knocked his door, and I told him, sir, did you hear what happened last night? The response he gave me is, Hydara, you know these people, what can I do? I told him, sir, don't say that. If they manage to kill somebody here in this compound, it is on you and me. Do something. Try to engage the president and try to see how you can at least put these junglers under control, because these people will one day kill somebody in this compound. You see, Council, even though the place was toxic, people were speaking up. Even though that was not enough, I will agree. It's not good enough, but people were speaking up.
In the case of Musa Sedikan,
yes,
he testified before the commission. He said that Ngor Seka was informed about his situation, that he was being tortured. And Ngor said had supreme powers. He does whatever state house that somebody jailed. And since that day, they never them there. I can tell you this, I didn't meet them there. Did you prevail on Musa Jame? Stop those suspects where you beat them again, you kill them. Who knows? I don't know. I never Lamin Cham of the defense, you interviewed him, didn't you? This man will come back. Then I asked him what was his question, and he repeated, so suggesting that you threatened him. And corporate,
to tell you the truth, there was a time, sometimes I will literally beg. Person means you are truly sure that you are not part of it, or you are part of it. President is bent on making these people pay for whatever reason. The junglers are going to execute that. Junglers was a mistake on my part. I will accept and I will say it's regrettable, but I will literally beg sometimes. That's the fact.
Well, Lamin Cham was very clear about this. He says, as you begged him to cooperate, otherwise these people would come back. Then Malia Mungu shouted in Mandinka. One thing at a diamula.
Yes. I will literally beg people because I know these people are hell-bent.
But all these were happening. All of you were involved in gross illegality.
System itself was illegal. Incredible, yeah? To try to swim through those waters. Oh, the commissioners here knows what I'm talking about. Or something in the book. In reality. No. This is my take on that. I wish there was another option we have.
There was an option. You chose to comply.
I came at a time. Evidence to that is they ended up being. I heard people talking about it, but there is some little. And we suggested that let us create a panel. All exonerated, and they were released.
But that is because, in spite of the tortures, none of these people confessed to the allegations. Witnesses to incriminate them.
I think council, you decide to do it.
What I'm trying to It's true. You agree? That they did not confess. There was no other evidence apart from their denials. So no matter how creative Jame or the NIA could have been, they could not have manufactured.
This is where I stand to defy council. You know why? System at the time. Want to fabricate anything, they can fabricate it. Depending on the people though, because they know the people they can use and the people they cannot use.
But the thing is, all Jamia wanted was to torture them to get to the truth.
Or sometimes just to inflict pain on them, sometimes without even caring about the truth. But
having tortured them and satisfied his heart that they went through pain, simple thing would have been to let them go.
Agreed.
So the system NIA officers did.
No, I disagree with that.
They have never had to break any of the cells.
I you for Director General
To the gate man.
I'm just telling you. These people, I want you to allow them in and out of your compound because they have. Listen, I want to give you one thing.
Let me ask.
It's around the same subject.
Let me ask my question. Access.
About Director General
That it would be for torture. And the next of torturing people who were suspected of threatening President Jammeh.
It's true.
Enterprise by members of those panels. With the full and with the full knowledge
that
the environment system and you failed and by the RIT system. What happened to you? Good.
But what happened to me in 2006? Let me rewind back a little bit. Understand
Let's make it shorter. Witnesses here tend to see more about their own personal.
Let's start from the middle then.
Let's do it this way. In 2006, you were...
Was not fair.
You were sacked again. And this time,
both time, yes. He was rehired again. And then consultations were made with family, of course. You have to leave the... Then I was trying to... The Director General then, Kujabi, may Allah have my office. I called him something, Kujabi. He said, he's his uncle. And one diplomatic... I said, I looked away from somewhere. I said, it's possible. But the face looked... So we exchanged that and they said, okay. Then Numo told me, yeah, I was just calling to greet him. He's my uncle. He's based in Guinea-Bissau, but they call him their Jabi Kasama. I said, that's good. Then I take leave of them. I went to my office. Baffles me, I said, this guy always get private guests. Why is he calling me to greet an uncle? Never occurred anything. I went home. Then few days after that, I was given a marching orders and then sacked. No reasons given. And the first instance, what happened? The first instance, what happened was, very short, Council. When Pajalo came, that's where it all started, so that you understand. Pajalo called me and asked me, I heard that you have very good institutional memory and I want you to tell me, two of us, what do we need to do to fix this place? Pajalo konyenko na mlonko ite kaunina kuala abuka sono ya hakilo diata bake bari mse mune kelo purka jandada. So I advised him among a lot of things. Among them I said, well, we have to desist from police duties. Na marjama diala wulukono nga fa ko police la do ko ngubula. And let us focus on our core duties. The arrests and detention, we have to curtail it and stop it. Let everybody focus on their core duties. If anybody has to arrest anybody, has to come through you, Pajalo, to at least tell you the reasons, good reasons why this person needs to be arrested, and you endorse it. If we are away, I can preside over it. We agreed, and a memo was circulated, written by Musa Diba, I could remember. Putting a freeze on all arrest and detention without any approval.
Ando tumolem nganyum foko kamo muta wala ka sorong silang abutale ning ayatara nyaton ko lumansumala.
Then one day I was sitting there and I got a call from the protocol officer to the president, then Jiba, I think it's Omar.
Utumo lunkilimbe siri nata kumandiro soto kabo protocol officer ya president laduku lalukono nimanyi na ikafai Omar Jiba.
Telling me that there was a lady, there is an accountant who works for the Ajame Foundation.
Akafonyen ko muso dole soto ntamembe duko la konto bundala ila Ajame Foundation duku bundala.
Who they had secured a visa and is planning to travel and is their accountant, they don't know whether he is going away with something.
Ko ila accountant no lamote da bela konto bundala andu ay visa soto andu la ftata malale andu malong fo abulola ta kolo ka ni membita.
I think he was going on study. So I advised Omar, I told him this place we are in the process of changing it.
Laya marudi Omar la nka entel lajandin hamolem purka kulu falinjang.
So those police duties we no longer handle.
Wo police do kulu sa entel bukam buloma wala.
I will advise you to refer the matter to the police one, or you can convene an emergency audit.
Ndeya marla akwadi police la wolia tama ni wonte woto ali konti beno kumandi ya konti boke.
Then he said no, it's the president who said that we should call him and do this. I said okay, I'll make it easy for you.
Ako hani president wala yata kamodi yata la police
I don't have that authority.
Nka woto wasembo tentela.
Call Pajalo and tell him.
Pajalo kumandi ya fae.
And then he said he's trying and he couldn't get him. I told him Pajalo is at the State House, I heard.
Akwata be Pajalo kumandi kana mausoto nka Pajalo bali fe abe State House je fawoto.
He said okay, I will trace him here.
Ako ha woto mbanyi lina jang.
I closed for work, that was on a Friday.
Ndeji tado ko la ulumu jumoneti.
On Monday, he called me early in the morning.
Ayo kumandu samanda juno.
And then told me the lady I told you to arrest has left. And you know, now I don't know what to tell the president. I asked him, did you follow what I told you? He said, no. Did you talk to Pajalo? He said, no. I told him, well, tell the president the truth. That's it. I was worried. I went to the office. Around about maybe 12:01, I don't know. State Guard personnel came in Mufti and AKA junglers again, I believe. I don't even know their names.
State Guard fulanata between bari de my uniform do bari ngamera jonglers wala moiti.
He whisked me away from my office.
Wale mfintindi na office okono.
They drove with me straight to the police headquarters.
Iye motu yembulandi motu okono yensamba police korda bato.
Handed me over to the Deputy Inspector General by then, who I was very acquainted with. May Allah have mercy on his soul, Sane.
Yensamba police la suti no lanko kan tumo ikafa Sane adu nataka moti. So
he took me, she said, well, I don't even know it was you. They asked me if somebody's coming. If he comes, I have to take him to mile 2.
Odumo ko atemalo no for bari tele kontelem bari nyine fine ko mbemo natila na futa jala samba mile 2
5-star hotel. Yes,
la hotel auto
the hell 5-star. Yeah, it's a 5-star hotel in hell.
5-star hotel on the jahannam.
It always has that effect.
Yeah, but ndumo tumo mile 2 je yata nyonyondero akajamale dankene yandi.
And I said stuff there that
you like back house?
No, far from it. Because when I read there, I remember I could overheard Wasa. Comment. Said, oh, our enemies have started coming. When he said that, and somebody else came to my cell door and peeped and said, come in, and I said this to them.
Modo fanana bring wasa yofu modo fanana na sel bunda to ayo firoka fana kumafo bari nate jabi minna.
I said, this is a path I have to pass through, and I'm going to get out of here.
I'm going to
spend a day here.
By the
will of Allah.
The same applied to all of them. Each one in their time.
But I left the So, but to cut the story short, yeah, that's how that one happened. Then later the president told Pajalo when they were handing my dismissal, he said the president told him that I always defy his orders and he doesn't know why.
Tell me, all this that were happening were just for the president and his ego, his self-aggrandizement.
That's right.
And his thirst to remain in power.
Yes. Agreed.
And he created a system in which all relevant public officers, or most relevant public officers, complied. Complied with his dictates. And sometimes even the chain of command. The hierarchy at work would not even matter. I have just read out a quote from Sedikan. Or was it Cham? Who said that Ngor Seka told him that Musa Jame had all the powers. This is of the president. Was it like that at the NIA?
It was. See, Council, one thing I want everybody to understand. Officer. Under duress. Whether you want it or not, the only thing that will save you is to get out of this country. Or to leave the job. Even if you leave the job, that didn't save you. That would not save you.
But tell us about the NIA. Was the hierarchy very relevant in carrying out task or responsibility?
It was not very relevant. It was not.
Why do you say that? Give us examples.
Simply because sometimes I've seen myself, I could only speak for myself. Assignments are given to your juniors coming from other places. You don't know, you just have to snoop to know that, oh, this is what is happening. You didn't know. Again, there was a year, give you one classical example of sheer madness. There was an operative who Jammeh planted in the agency and was doing everything without, in my opinion, no qualification. And then this guy will get away with anything. Example, Alaji Moore.
But let's be fair to him, he had qualifications.
He has qualifications.
Well, he went to the same high school as you.
I know, but what I'm talking about,
he graduated with the same qualifications.
What I'm trying to say is, experience. Because one thing is to be trained, one thing is to gain the experience. There was none available with him. Inside the agency. And then there was an incident. They called the then Director General, may Allah have mercy on his soul. I think it was Keba Sise. Proprietor of Bakadaji Hotel called him complaining that one of your operatives is here misbehaving, insulting, and driving a vehicle inside our footpath, breaking all our garden lamps.
Lado kula do felenti jang abemanya jawon la jang kamoto borindin na dinkirato kana lampu lorang bete amari be manya siala.
So Kebasi said, despite a very senior officer at the time,
Kebasi nata nyaton ka kilinki mumu nyaton ka tembo
was the officer commanding operations.
Me yalon ka teno officer tinamara do kuolu samba
charge of personnel, including him.
Me yalon ka marata do kulalu fanala nate.
Including him who? Three more.
And you have more do more.
That's what happened, Council.
I
cannot. When the guy showed up and he saw him, instead of
when who showed up and
when more showed up of Salimina Drame, he went like that was the man he was waiting for. Attacked him. Hit him. Kicking. People have to come between them. The police have to intervene to subdue him. When the news went around, everybody said, "Oh, this is the end of it." Under normal circumstances, yes, that should have been the end of it. That's what happened, Council. Nothing happened. He came back working.
Why do you think?
Because of the president. So, that's just one example of the kind of indiscipline and the lack of the disorganization of the whole environment. So, like I said, it is a rigged system. The system was bad to an extent that no one can salvage it. Amunta, misali kilineti, wala nkoye do kubunda lo mendunta nyoto andu wala du nyoto ajawiyata la hanifu afutata tembeto mota tembendinola.
We understand there was a unit called Special Operations.
Special Operations,
which pretty much served as the jugglers of the NIA. They tortured people. You see, Council, give me a time, a little bit, to be very honest with you, to understand whether, when I was there, because I was trying to crack through whether I definitely left the special operation in the NIA.
Special operations.
If it was there, it was not as active as it became to be. Because those things I had in this TRRC, like the torture chambers and things like that, and the way they describe it, if it was not that I'm hearing this from people, first-hand witnesses, I will sit with people and say it's all lies.
Nata kuonu mo jamin meni nata sede yawo la TRRC jing hanufo yo bungo tofo ikafo meye tajire ya bungo kotu babol kafo me tocho kemba nini molle bidi ya mukanu ya fo nyemba fula ko to nyanteng bari amolle ya fo jang meni ya lon ko yaje idunta kono.
Because tortures were known in those days to be the junglers carrying these things most of the time.
Katwo tumo tajire ya lumelu kita moli ya lo tumo ko jama jongla solle kakenu.
Now to see the NIA
but not all the time.
Most of the time, I said.
But NIA officers were also involved in torture.
That is a possibility, and I heard it. I think it's true, yes.
And in fact, there is suggestion that you too participated in torture.
Yeah, for double tajirinte yako kamol tajirinte.
Momodou Boja.
Momodou Boja.
No, I didn't torture Momodou Boja.
He
was tortured.
No. Momodou Boja's case, as far as I can tell, I will briefly give it to you. He said he was tortured?
Yes.
If he says it, I wouldn't deny it, Council. And it's unfortunate.
He believes you were part of it.
That I was the one who was whipping him.
You contributed one way or the other in his torture.
It's not fortunate to torture anybody, but I didn't.
You see, Mr.
I didn't. Straight to you.
You see, Mr. Witness, the NIA, the person who would come round to show you some little bit of kindness, is the same person who would lock you up, knowing fully well that as soon as he gives his back, the torturers would come and torture you. True.
Oh, yeah.
It could be possible.
That
like
was,
I said,
such was the system.
Yeah, the system was bad.
All of you played the system.
The system cannot be defended.
You show kindness now and you turn around and know fully well that what's going to happen next is brutal torture of people.
It's a possibility.
And we have seen instances like we've heard here, things that happen there, here and there. Those are uncontrovertible. How does your work at the NIA rank in the list of things you regret the most in your life? Counsel, to be very honest with you, I would rank it as #1. All I get from the NIA is trauma. That's the purpose I joined the service in the first place. I joined honorably. What do you say to these people who get convicted and sentenced to death, life imprisonment, or other lengthy terms of imprisonment simply because there were those reports put together by all of you containing confessions which all of you knew were unlawfully obtained and you said nothing about it?
kibarol nying alemin dada wala ya tinna ye sorong dolbije ko luwa ko nyanta kefa dolbije ko nyante la kasoto la fo wati jang anu niya beji be miyo sabu wala nyindi ko alela kuma ko le table ngala miyalon mo la be mo solti.
It shouldn't have happened.
Amanyan kala.
And I personally,
and up
till this day,
fokana bula bila,
like I said it, I am deeply traumatized by everything. And this is why when I came, all I want is to let things out of my chest. Start up a new life that has nothing to do with services. What do you say to these people? I would say, we are sorry. Because what happened to them happened to them because the system was rigged. I think they will understand too. And the system had compliant people. Compliance to some extent, yes. You would agree with me, when you were sacked the second time you left the country. Yes. And you saved yourself from participating in other gross violations of rights? Correct? That's correct, Counsel. That was an option that was available in the first place. That's a tricky part, Counsel, but
No further questions.
We are not very
No further questions.
They are not down there for people to pick. It's not easy. Thank you.
Thank you indeed very much, Council, and thank you for the Momodou for a very informative and helpful testimony.
Council, Foday Momodou
I have just one quick question on the extraordinary rendition program that you had a brief. Yes, regarding the number of detainees who were accepted by the Gambia during that program.
I
don't still understand from where.
Well, from the U.S. or the U.S. was bringing them.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's a rendition program.
I'm not sure about that, Council, to be very honest. I don't have clear information on that.
The ones you have in mind, the ones that went to Saudi Arabia and Yemen, you were saying?
Now I got it. I think there were a few. But like I said, the unit that was overseeing that will be the best to answer. And I think the current DG SIS saw at some point was also Balajo could be of help, and other officers who are working in that program. But yes, I know that there were instances like that. Yes.
The related program, question then I have, you probably wouldn't be able to help us with that. And that would have been, what was the quid pro quo for Gambia in participating in that program?
Gambia la lodula akoni italianta akalanyadi lekat italianta munimune bondila ko nyinko.
You may have a view on that.
At the government level there up,
Sakunda la Carola Santo J.
I am not sure.
Among coin mabake.
But at our level, is finance, logistics, yes.
Yes, Council, you seem to be.
Training must have been a particularly exciting prospect for a lot of people going to the U.S. on courses with the per diems and all that. It's interesting. But anyway, the information we received, it's very few people, but only one name we were given so far. Only one name of a Saudi or an Arab person who was providing financing for Yemeni fighters. So that's the only one we received.
We understand that we had reports that went to the Security Council in New York involved some Iraqis and Afghan fellows who were taken to Guantanamo first, and then they were then spread out to Gambia and a few other countries that have signed that program with the
yes,
US.
But on that we have not been given any names.
Okay.
So-called black holes, they call them, but yes, it is a scheme. But not only that, you know that I will not go into details with that, it's not the right forum, but you can ask me, sure. I can put it down. You know that also the scheme was relying also on operatives to be injected in certain foreign operations undercover, and they were very successful.
do kula dolu sotonta mene alonko ibe dundila dinkiral leto kullo.
I mean, not to, I can give you the name, but
intelligence officers for hire by foreign government. No, we can't go into details.
Yeah, we can.
The understanding we had.
In the name of cooperation?
yes, was successful though. The scheme was successful. It paid off.
But that can be acceptable. That can be acceptable.
It's acceptable because it is the war against terror. So.
It wasn't public knowledge. The chap who went to Saudi Arabia or to Yemen was not Mutawakil. The former foreign minister of, I mean, that one is public knowledge of Afghanistan.
No.
No. Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, Deputy, you have the floor. If you have any questions, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lead Counsel.
Baraka Chair,
Mr. Hydara.
Lead Counsel.
A very interesting day.
Mr. Hydara.
I have 3 questions.
The
first one is in relation to the liaison officers who were posted to ministries, departments, and in embassies overseas. What was their role?
Commissaire Molmi Alonko, ikawale taprieta si alla dogu bunda toyal ma coming embassy or to teng aning dogu masakundala dogu bunda kotongali ka for ministries.
Important question, Commissioner. You know, all these things were set up for a purpose. But like I said, as time goes on, I don't think the people running it even understand the objective, the original objective of it. I will start with the liaison. Internal liaisons, for example, here. It is something that has been going on from the First Republic. And the whole idea is to induce an agent inside the community intermingle harmoniously and then talent spot within that community. At the same time be able to tap out what could help the government in decision makings. Those days no emphasis were placed on politics. So in that way the liaison there is the eyes and ears of the government through the agency. You have to get an in-depth knowledge of the community you are serving. So that you can be able to, properly, you can be more effective. Those things have helped in the past. Because from national security threats, cultural, infrastructure, even condition of communities, everything you should capture. And when you filter this, then it will be processed to deduce intelligence out of it that could be put into action. See the agent, when it is properly performing its job, is like when you have an engine oil inside a motor vehicle.
niaje yendo kula façon memba la do ko ke kan anyama akakele ko dron ni masin tulo soto men ya lon ko abe masin ko no abe mem tamandika.
All you do is to complement for the best interest of the nation.
Ikam mem be ka kan je wolem ka kata banko la kairo ni nyaato tamumenti pour ka bundalu sahali.
You go to the external legion.
Ni tata bantala taluto.
There should be a place of studies.
Wolu anyanta kala kuleti me ya lon ko asike londi nyinin bundati
and research.
Anin ka kulu nyinin ka kulu kisi.
So that what you tap out there,
wolem nyinti ko etebe londo men ka fula nyoma je,
it is filtered down.
Nin anata adinkirato.
Government and policymakers could learn something from it.
Man sakunda ni sarta londi la lufanalisi kukarano akono.
Not to forget also about the threat mitigation.
And satara nyinote kala kulu la meni alonko ulisike silandir kulu ti bankola karola.
So all these things also is to open up to see how you can advise policymakers if you see something interesting there, what routes you will take to tap that resource.
Nun falam be munyineti puru melu kasi ka sarto lu de ay ka kangolu londi puru ke makoyi ni be kolu kala nyanta kala nyabi satara ibakala kibaro le kan ye melu soto melu be silo wala na membe kala kunyi mati.
And if you have your citizens within that environment also, you have to know
ni la banku dingulu
up
soto
to and how they are faring, and then to see if there is any plan to come and steer a rebellion or something. These are all part of the duties that you have to look for. And the only way you can do it is to amalgamate.
isi men keno wala mo lu fanal men be banta lay katara din kira le to dame mi alon ko inim banku din belu sikafuno nyoma men be banko e banta la ko te fanan betul ko no men adu men be ko solo yandila ini yedu nyokono ini ka futa nyoma ini ka nyoma pour nyin kamala nim misali kam fere jawo sitita ko ibina la banko kanne kana kujawo tamandi jang isa londo soto isa nyin kamala ko lu sitama men si banko tankandi nin kayra kule fanamu isa kibaro kinan.
So, but as time goes on, that purpose was defeated and it was misconstrued, and then it becomes a resting place.
Between birin wato tata fajam fata kulu nata falling dalilo lu yela mata anata ke dinkirati dame yalonko itata ke daha dimbulla gorometi.
That's it. For example, now in even Jawara's time, there was a sabotage on the engines.
Because between misalo momenti hani President Jawara la time tinyar la lu sotonte le mini ya lonko ye tinyaro ke kanawe kala masimu tinya.
So the purpose of that lesson there is to mitigate, to counter sabotage.
Oto tumo dalilo memba ko ma pour mo façon le taro dinkira façon luto ni mo tinyar façon ni mo lafta kala pour ka kuntu nyato.
So it's just to protect that infrastructure.
Wala pour ka dinkira kanta ay tanka tinyaro.
The population depends on it.
Katu banko jama mo la jikobe dendinje la la sulo
This town is a national security threat.
Ni misal kam banko la silanda ku sotontaje.
So but as I said, everything changed.
It's
like there is no original manual anymore.
That
answers your question.
Thank you for the very comprehensive response. You've given the ideal situation, but you've also explained how it deteriorated into something else. To the extent that these liaison officers were even at airports taking who's going in and out, doing arbitrary arrests. Anyhow, thank you very much for your response. Now, the second one is when the lead counsel asked you about the violation of rights of the people that came to the panel. He asked if they had access to lawyers, and you said it would have been a waste of time if they asked.
Ayengilin ka fodu woli yesilo soto le puru isi loyalu soto no bang iko bari hanno woli o kanin abekala wati tinyaleti ni la nyilin ka rofu tatawdo.
In the case of Tamsir Jase,
o Tamsir Jase la kuoto,
It was not only an exercise in futility,
bara mankeñin dammante ka foko ye do ku tamande me ya lon kam na fasoto,
but when he asked for his lawyer,
bar bring ayala lawyer kanin,
the lawyer was arrested,
ye lawyer ñin fo mutale,
detained,
ita ta soro
and kept
ya mabu
incarcerated for over 108 days.
ya soro men siata tilikeme anin tilisayoti.
So what do you have to say to that particular case?
Thank you for that question.
You
see, the reason why I asked how many reports you guys got, because we have 2 reports.
One of
the reports has the likes of Mariam Dentin and others. Honestly, we were equally confused. When they started bringing all sort of people from everywhere, and we don't understand anymore what are we even looking at. So we said to ourselves, let's try to clear these civilian detainees. Let's focus on it and write a report immediately so that they can be released.
na nyati lenye civilian la yemenu mutake sindi jang alinga den na kibaro safe me yalon ko ninga parendi isaje isiwulu bula yebo jang.
We fast tracked that
na ko tariyandi
and exonerated all of them.
Andu nyebe seneyandi.
And then later, time goes on, Sonko came with, I don't know, with a message from the president and gathered all of them saying that they have been pardoned.
Biruo kola long sonkonata anin kibaro ka fabuta president le ya yebe bendi ka foko president le yam fatawoni.
What the president was doing at that time?
President be ke kanu wotumo.
Yes, there was an attempted coup.
But
now he wants to use that same thing to mix out everybody he has grudges against or something, a bone to pick with. And he was just throwing his net around and just bringing anybody, everybody. And this is what was more disheartening. The impunity at the same time. For example, you bring the likes of, I saw one old man there, I still cannot forget. He came. We saw him. We don't even know why he was there. And then he was brutalized. So when we said, wait a minute, let's try to clear these people first. And then we focused on them and we fast-tracked the report. And the report was very explicit. Exonerating all of them for any wrongdoing. What Jammeh's motive or his agenda was met because all he wanted was, like I said, he enjoys inflicting pain. And he has his team of boys who will do it for him. That's the junglers.
Fortunate. Actually, in the case of Mariam, she was tried and taken to court, and she was acquitted and discharged by the judge. Okay, finally, I don't know whether the lead counsel will admit this, allow me to ask this question. You had started talking about the Daba Marena case, and lead counsel had said, okay, we'll discuss it later. Do we continue? Do I continue with the question, or do we leave it for?
Yes, by all means, ask the question. I believe the information he provided has been put to other witnesses and they confirmed it. And that's why I thought it's not necessary. Because it's what he has to say about it has been put forward to other witnesses and they accepted it. But you may ask him if you want. He may have another perspective.
There's a caveat for it.
Yes.
Okay, let us listen to yours.
Please go ahead.
See, like we said, if the president was briefed properly, I believe Daba would not have been added into that list. He was not. Nobody accused him. But because of the wrong information, he was added and executed. And when the news came to us, all the will confirm. There was a lot of noise in the panel room that day. We all directed our frustration and anger at Harry Sambo. Asking him, I personally even asked him, let's constitute a panel and invite those soldiers who were escorting them.
Answer
the relevant questions of how did this happen. Among the ranting also, I told him we should go to the accident site and visit it and see. The vehicle involved, we need to see it. And then the likes of Foday Bari also stood up and said, I don't believe this because Daba will not run. So other panel members supported. When I was saying this, the rule was full. Then what Harry told us killed our spirit. Can you imagine people who are relying on you as a director general? Legitimate concerns. And then you are telling those people, if you have any question, write it on a piece of paper with your name and sign it. I'll take it to the president. And I want council to investigate one thing. I cannot swear, I cannot authoritatively say it, but tell your investigators to look into it. Try to consult one of the state guard officers.
State guard
because like I said, when that incident happened, it traumatized me. And it is still, I'm still battling with it. And I've been asking questions every time as to how did this thing happen? And then I was made to understand, and I might be wrong again, that prior to that execution, what I heard, that night, there was a secret meeting at the State House. And in present, you can investigate it. I might be wrong again. They said in that meeting, Usman Sonko was there. And Harry Sambu. With the president. Take note of it. Ask Sehu Jallo or within that date, take the date and find out who were on duties that night.
Mr. Chair, you have 3 theories, and each theory depends on who is saying it.
Yeah, but just find out.
His theory is Harry Sambu and Sonko were present at State House the night before. Another theory is that it was Langtombong and Usman Sonko who were present that night. Another theory is that all 3 of them were present at State House the night before. Hence the concoction of the press release. And that is why it is difficult for them to explain this whole idea of Tumbul Tamba having to come to them at the IGP's office and pretend that Jammeh did not know. But if Jammeh did not know, how could have Jammeh participated in dictating the press release? So it looks like there is a major cover-up and finger pointing. But in all that, there is also the suggestion, another theory, okay, that Langtombong did Nurcham, just like Harisambu and yourself did Dabamarena in. But that is a more outlandish theory. So we are looking into all these things. We are not yet in a position to find conclusive evidence on this, and that is why we have put out those theories, all of them, to the relevant witnesses, except the more outlandish one that is not to be believed. And the commission would at some stage look into this and decide where the truth lies. But what looks certain is that what happened at police headquarters was a major cover-up. Lang is suggesting that Harry and Usman Sonko knew what they were doing. Harry is suggesting that Usman Sonko and Lang knew what they were doing. I am sure if we were to ask Usman Sonko, he would say he was the one in the dark.
That's right. But anyway, dig it out.
Yeah, thank you. We will continue our efforts, and the Commission would come to some conclusion by the end of our work. Thank you. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Commissioner Jones, after Kenyaninka.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Hydara.
Baraka, Mr. Hydara.
I have one question regarding the use of the NIA as a spy on political opponents.
Komi kanu fo komi NIA kata le praike bunda de miyalon ko ibekala yofiro kala nying political partiol la karola.
You touched on it briefly, but could you please elaborate more to give the Commission further information on the activities that the NIA was involved in?
Ya fole bala sutiara le balsa lafta ya kuna fanundi isa jase commissioner de maila do kola karola.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Jones.
Like I said in the beginning, that unit has been in existence since the First Republic. And the objective was not to target political parties. It's just a monitoring mechanism to make sure that who are calling themselves legitimate political parties remains legitimate.
Political party will me along political party or the Kajoko ila war kuku for political party or the.
And this is why they go to meetings just to listen to the kind of messages they're sending.
And walatineka mabela meeting to ka isha joko isa long komika kumakansi file minfudandi molma.
Nobody will take the country off guard, register a political party, and then the next minute, on the whole, your major interest is to subvert the government through the unconstitutional means.
Isa joko wacheke bundati mi alonko ase lonu ay tembe ka fereke kula mi alonko isa itakola ko ebe mansakunda isa mansakunda bweni no
That was the original objective, but like I said, everything changed.
Welfare daliloti mi atina lota fam.
And then it was later personalized to spy on political opponents.
There is a problem with the interpretation. It was later personalized. Exactly. It means to say here that the government used it against political opponents or political leaders.
That is true.
Thank you. I'm not sure the role of the NIA is to decide whether or not a party is legitimate. I should think that's the role of the IEC, but we move on.
Well, that is the role of the IEC, that's true, but as a body that is tasked on national security matters, you know, they have a responsibility to make sure that everything stays the way they said it is. So that, you know, one party would not become a major national security threat. Because, you know, people could be honest to say, I want to pursue a political career and make sure that I get the government by the ballot. But somebody might say, what I'll do is I'll register a party legitimately, gather people, and then underneath I do some clandestine activities and subvert the government for people to rise and revolt.
If it helps the commission, we have documents on that. We have received files on some of the political opponents of the former government, and what is contained in those files would perhaps reveal the objective, academic qualifications, who are your friends, and all the things, activities that they have been involved in the past. Those are the contents of these files. It's beyond what political parties do. It is to find dirt on people, if I may put it that way.
And where did those files come from? NIA?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Shenanigans of politicians?
Well, I have received a file which has dug into academic qualifications of a particular politicians whose academic credentials were at some stage in question.
So the academic qualifications, I said shenanigans.
well, that's true, shenanigans.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Lead Counsel. I think that will be very useful and helpful to the Commission. May I just ask further, Mr. Hydara?
Mr. Hydara, I'm saying
beyond just digging into their personal lives, was NIA also involved in vote rigging, vote buying, intimidation of voters?
For coming cover the rake dadu mola function kwokon. For ke dadu na fana coming nana ta Carola mialongo walem kare fayola Kenya la Carola bang.
Vote rigging, I would say no. Not that I know of. I don't know. I can only speak for myself.
Kare fayola Carola de ndefem fala no water, but ngamin long fire and so forth.
Vote rigging, no evidence of it.
Say
the intimidation of political opponents. Yes, like I said, and the agency in general was later personalized as a personal entity. It has graduated from being a national entity, but a personal one.
Abota kafo ko bangola fongalem bari yake function fongati. Akita function tati. Unso wala phone o Carola.
Thank you. No further question.
Commissioner Khan, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Kala Kaninka.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Baraka, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Hydara, for your
Baraka, Mr. Hydara ila kumakanga yemi mfaja.
I have two questions I want to ask you. You've revealed in your testimony that there are things that you never knew happened at the NIA and in the country until they were revealed in this very commission. What's your biggest takeaway from this commission, and how does that link with the commission's Never Again campaign?
Commissioner Keloka Fanamine Kavomi Never Again. And you were no, you know, Sotanyadile.
I believe this commission is a blessing.
I'm running commission of the name of Baltide.
And I think it's a center where people can learn a lot. For example, some of the things said here would have never been known without this commission. And knowing them and trying to find corrective measures for those issues is very important to take this country forward. And like I said, it will guarantee a never again. As people will surely learn People will surely learn from their mistakes. So that anybody put in a place of authority, you should be extremely careful knowing that you will be held responsible. It is going to take 10, 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years. They will come. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you. The second one is on the accountability of the resources that we are at the disposal of the NIA. You've mentioned in your testimony that the NIA is the funds that we are given to the NIA. We are not reported to the National Assembly.
Ya foloko ikadepaso mi ekole di nyindoku bundanya na NIA. Abuka futa dubite bungoto
because it was Jammeh's baby.
Katu wotomu Jammeh dena nolti.
So I'd want to know where there are other forms of accountability internally or so, because these were taxpayers' monies, from taxpayers that we are giving to a national institution, and they weren't being accounted for from your testimony, if I got you right.
Banku dingol la kodolen katu banku dingol kana mo minjo ko kodole sika ikadia to la brali do goke.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Honestly, the business of intelligence gathering is a very expensive enterprise. In a regular system. And this is why force this out to the agency will be very, very hard to account for, and I don't think that is only limited to the NIA. I think other countries is the same thing. Because you will use those resources to engage in the procurement of information from diverse agents around the world and in the country. And you want to stay discreet. You want that to stay discreet. So scrutinizing how that is spent will defeat that purpose. What usually will happen internally is funds are here. You take out things like fuel could be accounted for. Vehicles will be accounted for. There is one sector that no one can account. What they call the operational fund.
Sorry?
The operational fund. This is like, the French call it cash noir, whereby you can dip your hands in there and spend it. Spend it for the procurement of, for the recruitment of agents here and there, those that you don't want them to be put in any records. And all that will cost money. So the accountability of the agency will be very hard. But unless you categorize and said so and so has been spent during this period on this, so and so on that, so and so on this. But to scrutinize it piece by piece is impossible.
I mean, how do you reconcile that with good governance, with democracy, principles of democracy? Because if you just operate in that kind of shadow, would you not open up the possibility of abuse of not just the funds but the fundamental human rights of citizens, as it happened during the time of the NIA?
Saita for ko haram hanile banku dingol fonga ele nyanto abe kele fenati ni alon kay ba busile bulle.
That is true, Commissioner, but you have to understand this.
But
any intelligent outfit is built to be shadowy, is built to be shady. It's an organization that is built purposely to be in the shadows. To get absolute clarity about all their movement is impossible. That's how it is. And Gambia is not the only country that is an exception.
I don't want to prolong this debate, but thank you for answering my questions.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. If there are no further questions, Grandpa Foday Momodou, you can continue with final remarks. If you have any to make, please proceed to make them now.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, all members of this TRRC. For giving me one singular opportunity I've waited for 15 years. I have gone through a lot of pain. 15 years. Because of so many things surrounding where I used to work and surrounding my very self. And I couldn't have ever cleared myself for people to truly understand. If this TRC was not set up. And this is why I said this is a blessing for me. And I've prayed for it for years. And based on that, one thing I just have to say, I want every Gambian to understand this. The 22 years of Jammeh's rule was dictatorial, and that's not hidden to anyone. The system was weak. The institution was put into his play for his own wishes, just to consolidate himself. And during that time, Jammeh will not stop short. He will go to any length. The evidence have showed in this TRC that he would even kill his own brother. Just to satisfy himself. It was a difficult situation. And those Gambians who were lucky not to be part of the system, being away from the country, should be thankful to God for that. And those who have stayed in the system, I want everybody to know that they have suffered tremendously. They have endured every kind of pain, threats. I will say to everyone, before you raise your anger and say, I will not do this, why is this happening, right? Ask yourself this question. Honestly ask yourself this question. If I were in the position of this person, under that circumstances, what would I have done? And honestly answer that question for yourself. And if you don't know, we know. In those days, like resignation, simple resignation was not an option. It will become an option if you will leave. But you resign and stay here, Jammeh will still suspect you and he will hook you someday. So you see people flying with their big cars in ties and suits. You think they are living a luxurious life. But the correct description is a luxury in misery. And your life is in danger all the time. I joined the service for a good purpose. To serve this country honorably. When things started evolving and getting to the brink of where human lives have been lost, I made up my mind that this guy is not worth serving. You see as your uncle. Then I asked myself, what about me? I'll be like a chicken in front of him. And that is when I said, this is a government, one needs to find its exit strategy. Fortunately, I was hopeful that I will hit 45. Take a voluntary retirement. And then leave. Unfortunately, God didn't grant me that. And I think He granted my retirement at a very good time. Because I asked myself this question: if I had stayed in the system until this day today, what would I be telling this commissioner? Nothing. Because so many bad things have happened behind me. Inside the very NIA. If that has found me in the agency. So all I'm saying to the Gambian people is and learn to forgive each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for those wise and concluding remarks. And for your testimony for the day. This ends our proceedings for today. And we will resume Monday morning at 10 o'clock sharp. Meetings adjourned. Have a nice weekend, restful weekend.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locating money remittance and money. It's got you covered. You can fast and